Did y'all ever see that Lindsay Lohan movie, Just My Luck, where she was like the luckiest person in the world and then she had a reverse day where every single thing that could go wrong did? That's been this move. Hi, I'm October. This is my new apartment. You're probably hearing a lot of echoes because I'm here to tell you my moving story and the fact that none of my possessions are here and I've been here for a week. Whew. As I said in the intro, everything that could have gone wrong has. So I just wanted to kind of tell my story of basically the past week and how I can't seem to catch a break. I'd like to start with the fact that I'm a very prepared person. I love to prepare things, make plans. I'm very type A, I get that from my mom. And I think I tried to do a good job preparing for this move. I've known I was moving for about 6 months now, and I really feel like I put the things into place to make sure it was organized. The apartment hunt was a big part of that, and then of course that ended up falling through and I had to scramble, and I did finally sign a lease, and here's my apartment. Love to see it. It's actually like 3 blocks from my old place in Burbank, and so that part worked out even if it was more money than I wanted to spend. The hits kept coming. So my mom booked the moving company, because we usually U-Haul, but we're both tired and our bodies hurt. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna invest this money, quite a bit of money, and we're gonna hire movers so that I don't have to lift things, she doesn't have to lift things, and make it a lot easier. So originally they were like, oh, it's a couple business days, and that was the sell, was like, oh, this thing is a couple of business days. So we scheduled it for Wednesday/Thursday, now last week. Don't hear anything. Gets to Tuesday, and I'm like, okay, when are the movers coming? What's the plan? And I call them and they say, oh yeah, the arrival window is actually tomorrow at between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. And my thought process was, oh, because I didn't hear from you guys, I assumed it was gonna be Thursday. So now I'm having to panic pack. And luckily I had someone helping me, but we stayed up very late, we got it done, I went to bed. And then in the morning I had like 2 things to do. I got up at right at 10 and got everything done. So it gets to 3 o'clock, no word from anyone, because they said they would call like 25 minutes before they're gonna arrive. No word from everyone, no update, no nothing. So my mom actually got off work and she was like, well, I'll call them. Because everything with the movers, everything else in the world was in my name, but the movers were in my mom's name. So she was kind of running point the whole time. So she calls them and they're like, oh yeah, they got stuck at another job. It'll just be like a couple hours. And I said, that's fine, whatever. And then they call again and they're like, well, could we do it maybe tomorrow or Saturday? And I'm like, what are you talking about? No, because now I had adjusted the plan, the whole move plan I adjusted because they said they were coming on Wednesday now. I had to make a bunch of changes, but then everything lined up because I had to get the house deep cleaned before my renters moved in. There was like a bunch of stuff that I kind of put into place. And so no, the movers cannot come the next day. They needed to come today. So they sent someone and he rolls up and says, hey, so they only called me an hour ago and he had none of the supplies because they didn't tell him that he needed supplies. And they called him like when he was on another job and with an hour's notice. So now I'm starting to freak out a little bit. And then the guy calls again. And this time it's to tell me, okay, here's how much we're gonna charge you for packing up your stuff. Because the guy that arrived to move my stuff took pictures of everything he was moving, as part of the process. And I'm like, no, I'm looking at my contract and it says that the packing stuff would be provided. And they're like, well, what that means is, and the whole thing started to feel so scammy and I was starting to freak out. The guy that they sent was great. He, was talking about like all this stuff and like working with us and everything. And so he was great, but we got the like moving company that wasn't even the moving company originally booked. Apparently they hand it off to these people and they do the actual transport. Like I said, the whole thing was starting to feel really, really sketchy. So he was like, no, the packing materials, you know, aren't included because you have to like individually wrap all your pieces of art and all this stuff. And I'm like, what? But the sales guy that talked to my mom was like, oh yeah, all that stuff is included. And so turns out that wasn't the case. So the moving guy that came, who was an angel, said, I will go track down cardboard to pack the things that they are requiring me to pack. And then the plastic wrap that is supposed to be included, I will go get so that we can make sure that everything gets there safe. Great, fantastic. But then there is the topic of coin. So this guy is like, well, we booked X amount of square feet. The amount of stuff is actually this amount of square feet, which was significantly higher. So he's like, well, here's the new rate. And he said, because I'm not going to pay for packing materials, I'll provide my own packing materials. And the guy went and got them, and then I reimbursed him for doing that. I'm not going to pay for the packing materials, so what? And he was like, well, the dollar amount is going to be an extra $500 for the additional space in the truck. And I was like, honestly, that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, because he was quoting me for like double the square footage they originally quoted me. So I was like, whatever, fine. But I want it all in writing. I was starting to get pissed. Actually, no, I shouldn't say starting. I was furious. And I said, I want it all in writing right now, because you're not gonna get there with my stuff and all of a sudden be like, actually this price and this additional thing and this additional thing, because they already pulled that on us. And so I was like, no, I want it in writing. I want a contract that this is the total amount. And so he sent over a new contract with the new total that we had agreed upon, but it also included a blank page that with a required signature line that would have been something that would be filled out once they brought all my stuff here, and there's like a checklist. What? I was a legal assistant, both in a law office and at a movie studio. I'm not gonna sign a blank document. What are you talking about? So he's on the phone with my mom on speaker so I can hear them too. And we're like, no, go ahead and make that go away. And then we can sign under the new terms, the pages that were correct, and we can move forward. So he sends it back. It's still got the required signature line. I go, still not signing this. He sends it back again and it's fixed. So I sign it, fine, good, whatever. Then it's time for the pickup. So there was the down payment from when we originally booked it, then there's the pickup cost, and then there's the delivery cost. So you basically make your payment of your total in 3 payments. So he wanted, I guess I can just say the number, whatever. So he wanted $1,000 for the pickup part. Fine, it was in my savings. As part of all of this, I had set aside money that's now all gone, but we'll get there. Fine, $1,000. He wanted it on Zelle. How would you think this was a legitimate business? They requested Zelle? Like, that's what like people that are trying to scam you out of like concert tickets offers, you know? And Zelle wouldn't even do it. Zelle was like $1,000, that's too much money. We're not doing that. So the secondary thing was Cash App. So whatever, paid him with Cash App. The guy brings a second guy because I have a big dresser. It's like the biggest thing that I'm bringing was this dresser. And they load up my stuff. They don't leave until 11:15 p.m., which is insane. Every vendor experience during this entire move has been a disaster. I have just felt like the whole world is scammy and backhanded, and I am exhausted from it. Like, I can't believe that people conduct business this way, the way that I've seen business conducted over the course of this move. I've moved many, many, many times. When I was a kid, we moved like once a year. And so I'm very familiar with like what moving looks like. All of this has been a disaster. So that's Wednesday night. The plan is to leave Thursday at 10 p.m. and drive through the night. Like, I was gonna drive through the night, and then when the sun came up, my mom would do the drive. We decided to actually leave at 8 p.m. so Mom could drive for a couple of hours while I got the cat settled. And then once the sun went down, I would take over until the sun came up. There was one hiccup in that though. So it's Thursday, I pack the car, there's not a millimeter of space left in my tiny little Mustang. And because we had like a suitcase, she had like a weekender bag, and then just like random shit that needed to come, the toolbox, because we knew that we were gonna be building furniture probably before the movers arrived. Keep in mind, the movers told us the arrival was gonna be Monday. Today is Thursday, but we'll get there. So we start the drive. Within 1 hour, Salem, projectile vomits everywhere. She's in a carrier. She's in like a big carrier that takes up my entire back seat, but it's got netting, and she projectile vomits all over the carrier. Fantastic. So the smell's obviously really rough. We pull over like an hour and a half into the drive, try and clean it, but let me tell you, total with brakes was 15 hours in that car, and you could smell cat vomit the entire time. So I just was like, this is just how this movie's gonna go, is that everything's gonna be weird, and we're gonna try and laugh about it, and it's gonna be fine, okay? What matters is that we got through it. The cats were very unhappy pretty much the whole time, but they're here, and they're safe, happy, and healthy, and that's all that matters, right? So neither of us really sleep. I thought that once Mom took over, when the sun came up, she actually ended up switching earlier than that. She switched at like 4 because I was like, I am falling asleep. Like, I need to like take a nap. And she's like, well, let's just switch. I got like an hour and a half-ish of sleep. Let's just switch and we can switch back at some point. And so she drove for a little while, and then, like I said, neither one of us really slept any substantial amount of time, but it is what it is. So eventually, also, we get to California and we can't find a breakfast burrito. Like, we were driving through like Mojave, like that direction, and we can't find a breakfast burrito, and it sucks. And that was all we wanted, and we just never got one. And that's small, but feels significant when you've had the long, hard drive night that we had. Felt like a bigger deal than it actually was. But we land here in beautiful Burbank. I go to the leasing office and pick up my keys, and by that, there is not actually keys. It's all digital. It's a smart apartment. It's funny because like the windows are from like the 60s, but you have to like use an app to get into my front door, which I thought was kind of funny. But honestly, it's really convenient. I had a smart home at my house back in Boise, and so it was a nice thing to like not have to get used to keys again. So in the background of all of this, I had ordered 3 things: a couch, a vanity, and a coffee table. And they were all supposed to arrive either Thursday, the day before we arrived, or Friday. The couch gets delayed. I'm trying to not freak out because I'm like, well, that's our place to sleep, is this couch, because obviously my bed's not here. Okay. The vanity is the only thing that arrived on time. It arrived on Friday, was the vanity, which is where I'm sitting right now. So that's why you're only getting like cute lighting on one side of my face. Yeah, the coffee table ended up arriving on Saturday, which was fine. The bed just kept saying delayed. And eventually Monday, there was no progress. I had been sleeping. My poor mother and I were sleeping on the floor. We did that for one night, and then I purchased a 5-inch mattress topper, and we slept on that, and that's what I've been sleeping on every night, is this 5-inch mattress topper. And yeah, it does suck. It's certainly better than the raw floor, but it does suck. And so that's been a really frustrating thing. My microwave has also been delayed. It was supposed to arrive. Initially, it was today, and then they said, no, it's actually gonna arrive on Wednesday. It did not arrive on Wednesday, and now it's not arriving today. It hasn't even shipped yet. So of all the things I've ordered to try and set up my new apartment in the past week, I would say about half of it has been delayed or canceled. But the most important thing was the couch. And so I I canceled it. I had to wait for the refund because I don't have an extra just $350 more than I needed to get the couch. Ordered the couch. It was like, okay, overnight shipping. And I'm like, oh, thank God. My last night sleeping on the floor. 10:47 a.m. this morning. Your couch has been delayed. Okay, because of course it has. It told me it was on the truck, by the way. It told me it is on the truck. It will get there between 10:20 a.m. and 12:20 p.m. Great. Never mind. No, because you are cursed. You are a cursed person. And so no, you may not have, and you will be sleeping on the floor again tonight. Cool. Awesome. So you're probably wondering, what about the movers? Well, we blew them up several times a day, every day, until Monday, when we finally got a human being to answer the phone. Very exciting. Again, could this feel more sus? You be the judge. We finally get someone on the phone. She says, yeah, that was never gonna happen. The Monday date they gave you was, and I'm like, okay, well, we've been lied to every single step of the way. So the sales guy lied, and then the guy that wanted us to cash app him lied about the timeline. Everyone's lied. Just lies. The whole process, nothing but lies. So she used the word guess, my professional guess, and then when I brought up, you said guess, she got very offended. It was the whole thing. I'm like, okay, I'm just using your word that you used back at you, but okay. I said, do you know where my things currently are? Do you know where my possessions currently are? And she said, yes. They are, in fact, still in Boise, and she has no idea when they're gonna be picked up. So she said, well, follow up with me on Wednesday, which was yesterday, and hopefully they'll be picked up by Friday and then you can get them early next week. Okay. So my mom texted her yesterday, again, because this is like the one thing that's in her name. So she's been kind of handling all of that. And she says, no update. That was the update. It was no update. So I still have no idea when I'm going to get my things. I am in an apartment that has the things that was able to pack in the back of my Mustang and the things that have actually arrived. I just want my microwave. I want my couch and I want my microwave so that I can start to feel like a little bit of a normal human being. But what I will do is I'll insert here a little tour of what the apartment looks like right now. And then maybe once I get all my stuff, we can do like a real apartment tour. Okay, starting in the living room, I have my beautiful vanity. This is my coffee table. It actually lights up, but I didn't have the right cord. That's cherry lamp number 1. Over here, this will be my office dining area. I just have a trash bag on the floor because my trash can's also with the movers. Kitchen, a little bit messy because I just don't know where anything's gonna go. Bathroom, I built that poorly. But everything, you'll notice there's a lot of color and that was intentional. Laundry room, Okay, there's my glorious mattress pad on the floor. It is a mess in here. I finally unpacked my suitcase and made like a little mini closet, mini dresser in the closet. But yeah, so that's where we're at right now. I'm hoping someday it will look better than this. So that's where I'm at, sleeping on the floor, trying to not get discouraged. Pride weekend for me is in a week, and I would really like to have my things, but I'm basically not holding my breath. I was struggling because I have job interviews and side gig things that I need clothes for, and so I had to use my mom's because I am a grown adult who had to use her mom's Gap card to go get clothes so that I have something to wear for the job that I have on Sunday and the job interview that I have today. So that's where we're at. I'm trying to keep my head up. It's been a struggle, but I know that everything will work out in the end. It'll be delay after delay after delay, and how many more people lying to me before then? Yeah, I guess time will tell. But thank you for coming along this journey with me. Hopefully I will have a more pleasant update soon. Welcome home. Like and subscribe, and see you guys next time. Bye.